I still get goosebumps when I watch that video. Paji was a great inspiration to me. I mean, the captaincy of Virat gives you more freedom, it makes you express yourself a lot more.
Hello, everyone. You're on SK Live. I'm your host, Indranil Basu. Today we have Mr. Stuart Binny with us. Hi, Stuart. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good, thank you. Nice to be on the show. What's happening?
I'm fine. How have you been? So, what you do? You're looking so fit. Touch wood.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been not much. I've been stuck in lockdown, so I've been working out a bit, but not much happening at the moment. As you know, cricket has been in lockdown as well.
So, what's your training pattern right now? I mean, you're going out, running, you're doing indoor stuff, or what exactly are you doing?
I'm actually doing only stuff at home. It's just stuff on my terrace. I've bought some bars and some weights and doing some Olympic lifting and stuff like that. I mean, it's just something to keep my mind also occupied, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And running and all that. You have a
I
treadmill at
haven't. I actually bought a cycle a few weeks ago, so I'm just out cycling at the moment. Nothing special. No running as yet.
I remember the kind of tradition, legacy, the likes of Roger Binny, sir, your dad, left behind on the field, and nice to see you carrying that tradition. You someone who comes across someone who's very dignified, very different from the. I mean, I really have a lot of respect. I mean, I've been seeing you for such a long time, since 2003, 4, the way
Yeah.
you burst into the domestic scene and the way you came in 2013, 14 Indian team. It's been lovely seeing you, the way you've carried yourself. You're carrying your dad's legacy.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's obviously coming from a family that played cricket. You know, it was a lot easier for us to actually talk on the dining table about cricket when we were young, and also for me to just play a sport that I loved and came naturally to me. So it made a lot things a lot easier, obviously.
And watching your dad, as you said, having him over the food and, meeting him all the time. So how helpful was it having a champion dad like that at home?
I think it was everything. I mean, look, Dad was obviously someone who played a lot of cricket, domestic cricket as well as international cricket. So he was always there to help me and guide me through those stages. Especially when you're young, you know, you don't really know the stages and the levels of cricket or what you're getting into. So I think it's important that Dad was around at that time and to guide me in the correct path and the right way and approach cricket the correct way.
I mean, tell us, run us through how it all started. I mean, how old were you if you remember when you held a cricket bat or a cricket ball? So, and what was your? I mean, how was Roger sir helping you in that? I mean, did it come in naturally to you?
Look, I started young. I started playing hockey in school. My dad encouraged me to play a bit of sport, you know, just to get my body going at that age. So I started off playing a bit of hockey in school. That was at the Frank Anthony Public School in Bangalore. So I
Yeah.
started off there, and then obviously Dad opened an academy. I was about 9 or 10 years old at that time. So Dad obviously really didn't coach me at that time. He just wanted me to go out and just have some fun, you know, learn the skills your way. And then obviously I picked it up and enjoyed the sport and went from academy to academy. I guess from there, Dad again expanded up and went and opened another academy. And then as a schoolboy, I joined that academy as well. So I think it all started early for me as with hockey, but I think just the amount of cricket that I saw at home also, I fell in love with that sport as well.
You already had a ready-made coach at home, childhood coach.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had two, in fact. Even my mother was my other coach.
Okay, okay. And how was it? Was he strict? Pushing you to studies, or did he say just go out and play and enjoy the various journeys of life? Or how was he as a I mean, we know parents' support is very important. It's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Dad was very open to the idea that I go out and learn myself.
Yeah.
He encouraged me a lot, yes, because growing up with your father being a test cricketer is never easy, you know. So there was always times where just things were said to me when I was young, but I said, I mean, Dad always told me to go out and express myself and to learn cricket the way I wanted to play it and not really try and mold myself on him. But he was always there to advise me, and so I probably just went out and played freely as a cricketer.
All rounder of repute. Of course, you've grown up to be like that, and like your dad. But just one thing, did it come naturally, bowling and batting with same intensity, or was it were you tutored to do so?
I think it really came naturally to me. I mean, obviously, my bowling, I had a very different action when I was younger. So the bowling, obviously, I worked a lot with dad when I was growing up. I must have been about 12 or 13 years old at that time. And in fact, he was coach of my school team at that point as well. So we used to go in half an hour before nets and try and sort out my action for that season. So I think that's why, if you've noticed, I kind of have that same setup going into bowl. So Dad wasn't someone who was very harsh on the cricket field. He liked people to go out and express themselves and obviously learn. And then when it didn't go your way, obviously you always had someone to come back to.
So he always taught you to focus on swing rather than on the pace, right? What he was known for also.
Look, I never bowled quick all my life because of my action, I guess. So my dad obviously molded my action, or showed me the way how it was done, and I kind of followed in that shape, or that technique. And yeah, I mean, for me, look, I'm an outswing bowler as well, so I think it just came naturally to me, and it was a lot easier for dad to explain things because he also kind of bowled similar to, or I rather bowled similar to him.
I mean, at the highest level, which really sells the most? Is it the swing or the pace or both?
I think a mixture of both actually works. I mean, because you've got to catch batsmen also sometimes with the short pitch ball. So I think it's a bit of both. I think look, if you can swing the ball both ways, you've got no worries at all. I think it's just about, if you're a kind of bowler who just tends to go out a bit, then you've got to really bring that one back in to get wickets. So, but if you've got be someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who you see swing the ball both ways and doesn't bowl express pace but very consistent.
Yeah, you burst into the scene around 2003-4, and within very short time, you decided to move on to ICL. What was that move all about? I mean, did anyone approach you? What was going through your mind that time? Were you little impatient that I had to burst into a big league? What was going through your mind that time?
Not really. I think what exactly happened was, I had been 2 years in domestic cricket at that time, and I was struggled in domestic cricket coming in. I had a first season which was decent, and it happens to a lot of players. Coming in, you're new rather, and a lot of teams haven't figured you out as well with your weaknesses and stuff like that. So I struggled in domestic cricket for that first 2 seasons, and then got dropped from Karnataka at that time. And I was coming back from a shoulder surgery as well, which put me out of the game for 8 months. So my comeback to Karnataka cricket wasn't easy at that time. So I wasn't finding a spot back in my 15 for the Ranji Trophy side. So then this option came up, and Dad and Kapil sir actually sat me down and said, since you're not getting cricket this year, why don't you look at another option where it can keep yourself busy and also meet some cricketers and learn some different trades from them.
Yeah, yeah. And was
So
it
that's
was it
how it came
yeah.
along. I mean, it came at a time where also I was struggling in domestic cricket.
Yeah, and struggle is part of everyone's life. It is nothing to feel bad or embarrassed about. But you came back so strong. Was it tough getting into the BCCI mold when you came back, to the IPL setup, Ranji Trophy setup?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I mean, I got back that season back into the Ranji side, but I had to start off in club cricket again in Division 2, and then make my way up to Division 1 and get back-to-back hundreds in club cricket to get picked again into the local tournaments for selection into the Ranji Trophy. I wouldn't say it was a struggle, but it was a motivation for me because I knew I needed to get back into that side. And that side was, at that point of time, was led by Robin Uthappa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Robbie that, I've got everything to give to Karnataka, and this is the time that I would pull my socks up and make a difference.
And Karnataka did so well, and I somehow feel I've seen a little bit of Delhi cricket, and they had this policy of throw them young. So Karnataka did the same thing, throwing youngsters like you and all that into the ring, and they did so well, being the domestic champion for so many years, and even now they're the most consistent side you can think of. Shut your eyes and think of one team which is doing so well in last decade or so. It's been Karnataka, and thanks to guys like you who really lifted the team.
Yeah, I mean, Karnataka always backed us, as players. Look, when you didn't do well, they were always around as well. I mean, they always sent us back to club cricket. They sent us back to coaches, back to academies, to sort out our games. So as we did as well. The guys who also came in after me were like guys like Karun Nair also came in young,
Yeah.
and we did well also, and also had guys like Robin Uthappa, Vinay Kumar all around, to guide them through that process. So I think what really mattered is that the senior players took the young players along with them rather than just go ahead themselves. I think that's why that defines that setup and that team that won so much, is because we all went together and we all said we all won setup, so let's move ahead together. I think that was the important thing.
The youth and the experience, that mix.
Absolutely. I think that's how it works. I mean, we couldn't win all the games for Karnataka. We needed some guys to also put their hands up at that times. And those are the guys like Mayank Agrawal, your Karunais, your Sams, they've all put their hands up and won for us as well.
And now we just look back and think how many batsmen Karnataka, has given to Indian cricket in last 10 years. It's incredible, the sort of talent, and that has helped us so much. And tell me about those days. First time, you got a call from the selector, BCCI, whoever called you first, that you are being picked for India. So how was that feeling?
Actually, I was batting in a Ranji Trophy game in Delhi versus Delhi when I got the call. So I remember my manager standing on the balcony and I was coming out for tea and he was just frantically waving at me. So I thought there was something wrong. But at that point, obviously, a lot of emotions at that time because you tend to play all your life for that sport. And I was still batting, in fact. So I didn't have much time to really think about it. It was tea time, so we had only 20 minutes to go. So I had a cup of tea, a few biscuits, a few hugs here and there, congratulations, a few tears in the toilet, and we were back again batting. So I guess that was how the day went.
This was 2014.
Correct.
And you must have gone in feeling like a tiger. You picked for India.
Actually, was batting on 30 at that time, and I got another 50 or 60 runs in like 25 or 30 balls. So I guess that's how you feel when you play for India. It just lifts you.
It lifts you so much. Even just traveling with the team, and once you come back and play domestic cricket again, you feel you're right. Your game is right up there, right?
Absolutely. I think that's what you do. You don't need to play every game, but you can learn so much from a dressing room with so many legends sitting in it at that time when I went in. So I think that's what helped me a lot when I went out and played international cricket and then came back to play domestic cricket. I always felt that I was a better cricketer when I came back.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of negativity happened around the time you got picked up, and uh, uh, Roger Binny sir was also one of the selectors, and I was told personally that whenever your name came for discussion, he stayed out of the meeting. So can you just clear out? I mean, it was like that, right?
Yeah, it's actually been like that from the time I was young, because Dad was involved with the under 17 team, which went to for the Asia Cup as well, and he was coach, and that was the time where this started. He used to get up whenever my name came in a selection meeting, and say, listen, it's not fair if I sit here.
Yeah.
And you guys are the guys who are going to take the call and to think if my son's good enough or not good enough to play. And I guess people did think I was good enough at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Roger Binisa is the president of the KSCA, the Karnataka Cricket Association. And for everyone who's watching, just to put everything on record, Stuart is playing for Nagaland, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this shows, what kind of things happen. There is nothing coming from. Was it a burden carrying such a big name during your growing years and when you started playing for India?
I won't call it a burden, but it definitely made things a bit tough growing up when you were young. When obviously when I got a lot older, I realized that I was good enough and I was here to stay, and I had the records and I had the runs and the wickets to do it. But obviously, when you grow up, you don't want to be told, by other teammates or by coaches who didn't like you or particularly didn't fancy you at that time, that you're here only because you're his son and you've got that. But it really didn't matter. I mean, once I got to a stage where I could kind of talk back to a coach, I told them to
Lay
uh,
off.
move on. Yeah, move on.
One thing, no matter how big you have behind you, how big is your force behind you, you have to ultimately go out there and perform, which is not easy. And you have done it. I remember that 2014, I think, is Bangladesh. That spell, my goodness, it's still fresh. The way you move the ball, those 6 wickets, you have the best ODI figure by an Indian bowler in shorter format of the game, which is incredible. I still get goosebumps when I see those six dismissals you had. It's not easy. You just crushed Bangladesh that day. I mean, run us through that particular day.
Look, I still get goosebumps when I watch that video, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean, you can't ask for better days, I guess, than that. Look, it was a game that we didn't get too many runs on the board, and we were under the pump from ball one, because it was a wicket that wasn't that bad, but we were on and off the field because of rain,
yeah.
and so the covers get got pulled on and off and on and off, and there was a bit of moisture in that pitch. I'll be honest with you, and it suited my bowling. Uh, I could have not asked for a better wicket on that day for my to suit my bowling, and I just basically went back to what I did in domestic cricket with the ball. Was that just put it in good areas, just try and hit the seam, and just try and move it, and just bowl to my strengths. Rena was my captain at that time, and he said, "Listen, I just need you to bowl areas and test lengths." And that's exactly what we did. We just got the ball up a little bit further than in one day cricket. You tend to hit the deck a lot, because you're going to get hit down the ground a lot. So I think at that time, I just bowled slightly further up and just tried to use whatever moisture was in that pitch. And things worked out that day, and I'm still here smiling.
And the best ODI bowling figure by an Indian stays in Karnataka only. That's a good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, to break Anil Bhai's record is was something special. I mean, I had no idea, in fact, that record was even broken till I got to the presentation of that show, and the presenter at that time told me that, Stuart, you have the best bowling figure. So I just looked at him a little blank for a minute. Then obviously it sunk in after that, after a few hours.
Did you get a call from Anil Kumble after that spell?
I actually got a text message from him saying that congratulations. He's really happy to see someone from Karnataka take that record. In fact.
I'm little I was little surprised. I mean, sort of success you had in that game, and stupendous success, in fact, and team didn't back you the way you should have been backed. I mean, they carried you to the World Cup team in 2015. You played few warm up games. I thought we all thought that you're going to be part of the main in the scheme of things, but that wasn't meant to be. I mean, why? What exactly happened? I mean, don't you feel somewhere a little push would have really helped your cause?
Um, Look, I mean, I had the build up to the World Cup. I had a good uh, Carlton series before that. I had some runs there
Yeah,
against England. I had some wickets against England, and I thought I had done pretty well, and I shaped up pretty well to that World Cup. But I think at that time, the think tank at that time must have thought that spin was to win, and there was I guess we were fighting with spots between Jadeja and me at that time to play because of the all-rounder slots. And obviously, disappointing not to play a World Cup game. I mean, been there through the World Cup and also in the T20 World Cup as well. Just before that,
yeah.
I went to the T20 World Cup as well and didn't get a game there as well. So it was disappointing. Hard to understand sometimes why it didn't work that way. But if you look at it, I mean, to be part of that, firstly, the 2015 World Cup was with that lineup was huge for me personally, and I just thought that maybe if I had got a shot, things would have been different for sure.
Even in Test cricket, you were supposed to be the all rounder over there, and same thing happened. Too many judgments started floating around. So that didn't help your cause at all, isn't it?
I don't think it helps anyone's cause when people have opinions about cricketers. I think you've got to let cricketers grow and get opportunities as well. It's easy to get one opportunity and sit 6 or 8 test matches on the bench and then try and get another test match in and expect that guy to do well because he's under so much pressure, first and foremost to prove himself because of the time he spent outside. So it's a tough one for guys to not get slots or get opportunities like 3 test matches or 4 test matches in a row or 4 ODIs where you can go out and express yourself knowing that, the team and the captain's got your back to go out and do what you do every day in your life.
And what is frustrating is that you don't get an answer. I mean, what is why you're not considered, and you're just there with the team. So that is really, really not happening. And you are not the only story which is there. In a lot of people, I remember one of the guys from Bengal, Manoj Tiwari, got 100 against West Indies, and he didn't play for such a long time. So and technically these things shouldn't happen, but it keeps happening. And then there are people who are giving that extra You never had that opportunity, that cushion, like a Sehwag coming and telling, being told by Saurav Ganguly that you'll get, let's say, 10 games where you have to score, you have to establish yourself. So there should be a standard norm for it, isn't it? In cricket.
I'm not very sure whether there will be a standard norm ever, but I think it's just the communication which helps players mentally a lot. Mentally, especially when you're down and not getting runs or not doing well or sitting on the bench for that long, you tend to forget sometimes who you are. It's just the talk in the dressing room by captains, coaches, senior players, uh, which actually pulls you up and makes you feel good again and go out and practice. Look, when you get into a routine, just practicing and practicing, and you get out in the middle, it's completely different. There's You can practice for months and just go out and never get runs, but it's all about spending time in the middle and how you feel in the middle. So absolutely, I don't think there'll ever be a norm, or there'll never be where there's here you go, Stuart, you're going to get 5 games, or whoever it is going to get 5 games. You're always going to Indian cricket, I feel you're always going to be fighting for spots because there's so much competition around as well, which is healthy in ways as well.
But what did you keep telling yourself during that time when you were not playing? How did you keep yourself motivated?
Look, I trained really hard during that time because I thought, and I believed at that time that me training would make my mind a lot easier as well. And when I got that chance,
Yeah.
I would be ready. So I think that's what really motivated me. I mean, if you see pictures for me from 2012 to 2015, 16, there were huge differences in my body and the way I played cricket as well. So I think that's the only thing that kept me going at that time, was to train hard and wait for opportunities and prove people wrong. And small opportunities I got, I personally feel I grabbed and took. Yeah, I may start on a few opportunities which could have taken me different places, but if you look at it, I'm really happy with the chances and the small shots that I got.
Absolutely. I mean, there can't be anything better than that. When you are, satisfied, you gave your best on the field
Absolutely.
whenever you
That's
got
the
the
most
opportunity.
that's the most important thing. If you can go out there and give everything, and then you wake up in the morning when you brush your teeth and look at yourself in the mirror, right? You're the one getting judged. So it's all about you feeling good and saying, Stuart, I gave it everything, and things didn't work, but and you still keep a smile.
Absolutely. And the smile should never go away from us. That keeps us. So much of negativity in the surrounding. We have to keep smiling. We have no other option right now.
No option at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, your batting skills, I've seen you, in full flow. You have a long handle. You can really, you know, uh, t- you know, I mean, hit the ball out of the park at will. You can do that. So that also helped your bowling. So are you a bowling all rounder or a batting all rounder?
I've been asked this question, I think, a million times. I'm still confused. No, but I'm joking. I think I'm more of a batsman. It came more naturally to me, I think. Just ball striking, the ability to change games with the bat has I think personally um made me more confident when I walked in. I thought with the ball, yes, my role was a lot different growing up. I played for Karnataka as the fourth seamer, fifth seamer sometimes. So my role there was a lot different, where I wasn't just strike bowler, I wasn't going for wickets. I was someone who's containing ends, holding batsmen, giving breaks to Vinay Kumar, Mithun, Arvind, guys coming back for their second, third spells to get wickets. But as a batsman, I was a number six, sometimes a number five, where I went out and dictated, the game, where I said, listen, this is where the game has to go in 40 overs. We need to be ahead, and took control of that game. So I think if asking me that question, I think batting was my strength.
Yeah, yeah. And of course the outswinger and the off cutters.
Yeah.
No, really, it's so handy when you have someone. If one doesn't click, if you're hammered as a bowler, which you're supposed to also, you're supposed to get hit
Yeah.
if you're a bowler. Then if you
Yeah.
score some runs, that really balances out so well for an all rounder. It's easy to keep your slot intact.
Yeah, you can hammer the other guy who hammered you as well. You have that option if he bowls. So it keeps everything. I mean, the sport keeps you honest as well. You have good days and bad days, and most times we end up having worse days than good days. So I guess that's how it works, and you've just got to keep waking up every morning and doing it religiously, I guess.
I remember in 2007, I think, in the England tour, Yuvraj was hammered for five sixes. Dimitri Mascarenhas was the batsman.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then Yuvraj did what he did in 2007 World Cup. The
yeah.
World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was quite
That,
a
that's
talent. I mean, as a middle order batsman, which middle order batsman did you look up to?
um, growing up a lot, I watched Andrew Simons a lot, Pat.
Yes.
He was someone who I really was really fond of. Just the way he played the game, the way he batted, the way he fielded, the way he bowled. Obviously, I didn't bowl off spin, that's why I bowled the off cutter, but he bowled both. He was someone I really admired when I grew up.
And you remember his 2003 knock against Pakistan? Four
In fact, I
wickets were.
just watched I watched it a week ago, and he just blew that attack away. I mean, they were struggling at that time as well, and to come out and play a knock like that with Michael Clark at the other end was something special.
I mean, it's like a plane taking off against the wind. That kind of a knock. That's one of the best knocks I've seen in ODI cricket. What a powerful batsman he was.
Yeah, I guess that's what you learn when you watch guys like that. I mean, that innings he just took till the end. If I'm not mistaken, he was not out at the end of that innings, and and that's what as cricketers we learn that the longer you take that innings or however deep you take that innings, you can put something special back on that board. You can pull off something special towards the back end of it because that's that much more set and that much more confident when you take innings to the end.
And what I like about that particular Australian team, which were like dominating force that time after the West Indies were dominating in 70s and 80s, was the distribution of workforce. If someone X is not doing, Y is going to do the job. There was no everyone knew their role. Everyone was ready for the big occasion. Everyone they didn't depend on individuals for you know for the results. I mean, they build that team accordingly, so that everyone has a role, has their role cut out. I mean, what you felt about it?
I think that's really important. For every guy needs to know what his role is. If you look at the team that Karnataka had as well, we were all sat down before that season and said, "Listen, Stuart, we need you to do this much. We need you to get 700 runs with the bat, and we need you to get 20 to 25 wickets." And how do you do that? You've got to go out and practice like that. You've got to go out and imagine that things are going to happen like that. You've got to play those scenarios in your head before the season starts, and everyone plays their own role. Then the whole team goes together. We were never that team was never a team who said, listen, I'm the one. No, it was never. I was. There was never an I in that team. It was all of us together. I think that's important. And coming back to roles, I think what happens again, your senior players are crucial at that time. Yes, they do put their hands up most times, but you
Yeah.
need your junior guys coming in at that time also to realize and to kind of feed off your positivity in that setup. So I
You know,
think roles play a crucial role. Yeah.
looking at the current Indian team, there was a feeling in 2019 that you get these two guys early because Indians are too dependent on Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, and you can put the entire opposition on the mat. There were too much dependence, which a champion side shouldn't have that, right? What we talked about 2003 World, Australian team, they were the champions also. So it's not a good thing to have over dependence on two or three individuals, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it doesn't. See, most of the time they will come off, but there'll be days that they don't come off, right? And
Yeah.
you got to have guys who'll also put their hand up. And and look, that's why you look at KL Rahul doing so well today. I mean, he's someone who's just been so hungry for that spot, and every chance he's got, he's taken it. So I don't see that with this current Indian team. I see there's a lot of guys putting their hands up. Whether they're coming in or going out. Like Shreyas Iyer come and taking his spot at number 4 so far. I mean, it's difficult to just let the Indian team handle the success only with two guys. I think it's got to be a joint effort.
you know as we are talking about the how, I mean, to build a team. I mean, we see the world cricket, you see the big teams in world cricket. I think 5 to 6 players are the core team members who are playing all the formats, right?
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you see Indian team, we have only 3 guys as of now who are playing all formats: Bumrah, Virat, and Rohit. So that number has to grow also, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you're good enough to play one format, you should be able to take your game to the next format,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you should be wanting to take your game to the next format. That's
Yeah.
my belief. I mean, um, Look, I did play all three formats for India as well,
Yeah,
but I first and foremost never thought I would play one format in the beginning. But when you do get there, you kind of want to also taste that water. You also want to go out there and do well. You want to. It has to come from inside, I guess, for these guys to be hungry and want to play taste all three formats. And I think it's very important that India have more than three players, or maybe seven or eight or even 10 of them playing in all three formats, and then you shuffle one specialist.
just wondering, 2014 Indian team, 2019 20 Indian team. What difference do you see? I mean, there was Dhoni the captain. Now Virat is the captain. I mean, from outside,
uh I don't see much of a difference. I just think the way the team would have been probably led, and the roles to the players would have been a lot different. I think with Mahi as captain at that time, I think there were a lot of he depended on a lot of like two, three, four guys in that team to kind of carry India in, or to try and finish games with him. But I think the captaincy of Virat, having played under him, gives you more freedom. More, he makes you express yourself a lot more. I think he gives guys great opportunities as well. It's not that Mahi didn't do it; he did do it, of course. It's just that at that time there was a lot going through, I guess, in Mahi's head, and where Virat is, he's that free and plays that freely as well.
for 7 years we haven't won an ICC tournament. That's a big worry. And every time we go, we are the favorites. So that pressure, is it that pressure which pulls us down? What do you think is wrong with the team?
It's definitely pressure as well. But I think, look, we do so well in the start of the tournament. I don't know whether it's pressure or whether we just kind of peak too early in tournaments.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better that you have a low key tournament and then peak towards the end of a tournament, so you go upwards rather than smashing everyone, and then you come to a big day or a big final or semi final, and then you're under the pump and under pressure, and that's when everything tends to boil over, I guess. So I mean, the guys are very experienced at this point of time. We've got some massive guys in the Indian team, and hopefully the young guys coming in can also carry some weight on their shoulders.
Some viewers are asking about your Shardul, that thoughts about your test debut in England. Your dream
Ah,
place debut.
Obviously, another special day again in my life, to receive my test cap number 281 from Mahibai. I mean, obviously, that test match again didn't go the way we wanted to go. We were under the pump again in that last final day, and obviously, I scored one in the first innings and got out early. So obviously, a sleepless night before that second innings that I walked into bat, and I remember my guy just saying, listen, we need you to bat 4.5 hours to save a test match. And I looked at him like, I couldn't believe he said something like that to me, because I wasn't even thinking clearly at that time, because I was nervous. I was playing my first test match. I hadn't got runs. So I kind of walked in, and I'll tell you a funny story. I walked in, and I'm normally take leg stump guard, right? So when I walked in, and my mind was like, I didn't know what I was thinking. So I said, Arms, can I have middle stump, please? And then I heard myself middle stump. I'm like, hey, I don't take that guard. So I was that nervous. I didn't know what I was doing at that time. And I walked around until I got off, I got that first 10 runs. I think my mind was so muddled. I wasn't even thinking clearly at all. But then that inning slowly gave me some confidence. I had batted nearly up close to 2 hours. I think I was batting in 36 or something like that in 2 hours, and I knew I definitely belonged there at that stage. Just standing at the non-striker's end, and you look around and you feel like, all these years. I think it was about 8 years or 9 years of domestic cricket. You had done it at that spot, for either saving matches or trying to put a game, on. So I mean, it's just experience. I think got me through that day, and obviously I would love to have a test 100 on debut, but it didn't work out that way. But I'll take a 78 any time of my life.
Yeah, I was that. That was really, really, really a brave knock. Your favorite international? Vinay is asking international wicket.
My favorite international wicket would be Joe Root.
Yeah, quite a batsman. Quite a batsman.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a batsman. Then this Vinay asking again, how was it sharing the dressing room with Sachin Tendulkar for Mumbai Indians in 2010? Legend.
Uh, yes, obviously. Was a great inspiration to me. I mean, I grew up watching him bat, and I couldn't believe I was sitting next to him in the dressing room and carrying bats for him. I mean, I did a lot of running drinks in that IPL because I only ended up playing one game in that IPL. But obviously, for someone like Sachin sir to ask for his bats and you carry out his bats running, on the ground, that those are special moments that you'll never forget. And obviously,
Absolutely.
just chatting with him after the games at dinner, with team dinners, is just an amazing feeling.
How good is IPL for Indian cricketers? I mean, we have seen our standard of crickets have gone up. Our bowling department is doing well. Our fielders are jumping all over the park to stop the ball. So a lot of good things are happening. But how do you see, as you've been a very integral part of so many teams, RCB, Mumbai Indians. You played for RCB also, right? If I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
RCB, Mumbai Indians, and Rajasthan Royals. So, how do you see IPL? Has it changed the face of Indian cricket in last 12, 13 years?
I definitely think it's changed the way guys approach the game. I think guys are not don't fear anyone anymore. I think
Yeah,
when you get exposed at a young age, you're playing with international cricketers who probably I watched on TV, and then you share a dressing room with them, right? It kind of brings out something special in you. You kind of know also that you're the person and you can do well, and then you go out and play free cricket. I mean, Rishabh Pant's an example.
yeah.
He is someone who's come out from the IPL, just expressing himself, enjoying the sport, loving it, and he's done well in all three formats. I mean, what more can you ask from the IPL? Those are the guys you're going to get now. They're going to be completely different. You're not going to get the old school cricketers anymore.
The best IPL captain.
My Rahul Dravid.
Yeah. So what was
Rahul.
special about him? I mean, he never won a tournament. I mean, he's a great cricketer. He's evolved as a great coach. But what was special about him as a captain? I know he was a great captain when Great Chappell was the coach. A lot of people didn't like him, but he had a definite narrative to the way he did things as a captain. I know it. But what is your explanation?
Again, see, growing up as a kid, Rahul Bhai and me played for the same club. And obviously, playing from Karnataka as well helped me through a lot. When I was playing domestic cricket in my third, fourth season. And he always encouraged me again to go out and express myself and be the person I was rather than try and copy someone or, go and try and do something for someone else. He always, I think that's what made me special as a cricketer as well. I did things the way I knew how to do it rather
Yeah,
than trying to do something extra and failing. So every
yeah,
time I had done well, I did well because I just kind of played in my bubble and just played the way I knew how to play. And I think that's where Rahul Bhai encouraged me and encouraged the guys in the Rajasthan Royals setup as well. I mean, guys like Sanju Samsung, Sachin Babies, there are guys who were just obviously great cricketers. I mean, good cricketers, but became a lot better cricketers just with us, with the chat and the exposure and then how he expresses himself. Like he keeps telling us that, look, if I had just sat back and been just did things normally, I would be just a normal cricketer. You've got to do something different as well, but you still got to not forget yourself and keep your game going.
I mean, what a commitment he has to the game. Even after retiring, he stays inputted. I mean, he's in Bangalore looking after the National Cricket Academy. You must be meeting him quite often.
Yes, I do. In fact, I go to him quite a lot for my batting even now. There was a stage when I was trying to make a comeback into the test setup, and I spent some time with him at the National Academy. Not really working on grips or my back lift is coming from. I went to him with that. I think my grips are wrong. I think my back lift is coming from gully and stuff like that, which obviously as a creator messes you up when you're not doing well and not getting picked. But he said to me, "Listen, how did you get there?" So I said, obviously, I went to domestic cricket and got runs in domestic cricket and bring my confidence back and not forget the cricketer I was. Again, trying to catch someone else who's taking your place rather than doing that. Focus on what you can do and go back and just go back to basics. Go back to camps. Go back playing camp bowlers. Get your confidence back. Then come back through club cricket, domestic cricket. And he said, don't worry about anything that
Yes.
is in your head right now.
Yeah, absolutely. What an example, I mean, what a brand ambassador. And even you also, you obviously carry, which we talked about at the beginning of the show, the kind of legacy you carry, the Binny family. That's huge. Coming to the IPL captains, I think Rohit has been quite a phenomenal captain. Why do you think Rohit is more successful in IPL setup than Virat Kohli? What exactly is your definition?
Oh, I'm not too sure, to be honest, because I've not really played under Rohit. If I had played under Rohit and then played under Virat, I've probably given you a clearer picture of what the difference with the captaincy. But my thinking is Mumbai Indians, I think, have that setup which they've held for some time. So he kind of knows his players inside out.
Yeah,
Where RCB, I can struggle with every year. You open like that option thing, and you've got like, who's these guys? But they've never had a really settled team.
yeah.
Apart from I think the one that we went to the IPL final with, we stuck for 2 years. I think with just making two changes, where now RCB I feel make more than 8 or 9 changes every season. So I think Rohit has an upper on that, and Mumbai Indians there's definitely have the core team intact for them to win.
You have to back your cricketers. Once you have
Yeah,
someone.
absolutely. I mean, if you don't back people in any form of life, they're never going to get too well. It's all about confidence. I think life is about confidence as well.
This is surprising me. Someone who scored a triple hundred. I've seen Sehwag doing it in Multan. Then
Mhm.
Karun Nair did, and then he was not playing for India anymore. That's the most surprising package Indian cricket has offered in last decade or so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a tough one. I mean, no one knows the answer why that happened to him. But again, a very very talented guy, very strong guy. I mean, he's gone back to domestic cricket. He captains Karnataka. In fact, he's captained me after I've captained him. So, I mean, obviously, it's nice. It's nice to see Karun do well again,
Yeah.
and be happy and back smiling on a cricket pitch.
Now we are having IPL in UAE most probably, and that too without spectators. So how will IPL look according to you?
So when I played the IPL in the UAE, uh,
Yeah,
it was first and foremost very hot. Secondly,
2014,
obviously,
2014, right? 2014.
yes. I just come back. Yeah, yes, just come back from the Indian stint. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So obviously, UAE is nice. I mean, big grounds, flat wickets. It's going to be interesting, but I don't know. I have played a lot of cricket, domestic cricket without crowds. So I guess it's like playing another domestic Vijay Hazare game. To be honest, I think that's the only thing I can say to you. Syed Mushtaq Ali or Vijay Hazare tournament with big boys in it.
yeah, yeah. It's
But I think
but
it's going to be interesting. I mean, watching the test match that's going on West Indies, England as well. One good thing is you'll hear a lot more cricketers on the ground and the stuff they say
yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no crowds to cut that sound.
Yes, yes, and of course, 10 to 50% coverage which is given during live matches on spectators, that won't be there. So a lot of focus will be there on the cricket. You know how what everyone is doing, what everyone else is trying to do. A lot of dressing room chit chats and all that things could be captured.
Yeah, and also all the stuff that is said which is not normally shown on air. So these guys got to be careful now.
Yeah, yeah. So as we love our sport. I remember Yuvraj Singh being asked once, why you're still playing domestic cricket and why you've not retired. He said, I will not retire because I love this game. This game has given me so much. No one wants to go. I mean, I want to keep giving it back to the game. I want to interact with the youngsters. So, what is your take? I mean, what do you have any backup plan after you retire from the game at some point? Uh, what are you planning to do? I mean, do you have any post uh, retirement plan?
Look, Neil, at this point of time, obviously I finished my stint with Karnataka.
Yeah,
I felt that it was time for me to move on and new guys come in.
yeah,
So that's why I took the option to go to Nagaland, and I'm very glad I did take that option because once you go to teams like that and to setups like that, you realize um, how much of a cricketer you can be and how much you can give back to those boys and to those setups. So personally, I feel Nagaland obviously is very close to my heart right now,
yes.
as all my teams have been, and I am definitely looking to be with them for a few more seasons and maybe even more to them when it comes to a coaching role. So at this
Wonderful.
point of time, it's just about me just giving back to the young boys there. They are young setup 1 2 years into domestic cricket, and they've got some talent. It's about bringing out that talent in those boys.
I mean, you have been seeing cricket, breathing cricket. I mean, drinking cricket. Everything is cricket from the time you're born, right? So, who would know better than you about the game?
I won't say I know everything. I still learn. I mean, I've learned so much, even though I was with Karnataka for a good 14 years. I mean, I still learn from the boys from Nagaland. I mean, there's so much you can learn of in a cricket ground. There's attitude sometimes when things don't go well. We tend to put our heads down because we expect so much out of ourselves. But sometimes it's just about those boys having fun. Quick chat, hey Stuart, don't worry, man, I'm there for you. Stuff like that really picks you up again, and that's what you want to give back to those boys as well, saying, we'll walk together, and you want them to do well. Every year, come back a better cricketer.
And you have to have a big heart to move out and give youngsters a chance, which you've shown. Not many people are in that kind of mind space. That's a
Look,
quite
but it's
incredible.
never easy to leave home or leave your state team, or
Yeah.
things not to go well. But I guess you've got to be a bigger person and figure out what you want in life. Look, there was no use of me staying back and cribbing about things and about how things could have gone. I had to move on, and I felt at that time the best thing to do was to move on and to give guys what I knew as experience, and kind of teach someone the way my seniors taught me, and so that I became a better cricketer. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and give something back to cricket.
It's a wonderful thing, and I'm sure you'll be very successful, because you have your heart in right place, which is very important for any individual to do whatever we do. You have that, and you have a good family, and I hope everyone is safe.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure chatting with you, Stuart. It was, and you came
Thank you.
on such a short notice. That was incredible. It shows,
No
what
problem. I've had a great time. Thank you. It's been a great chat with you. Thanks.
it was really a pleasure having you on SK Live. Thanks a lot, Stuart. All the best, and all the best to Nagaland. Hopefully, Ranji Trophy comes back. Also, IPL is happening. Hopefully, there will be a shortened Ranji Trophy. I was told it will be like the old time, like the time when Roger Binny sir used to play. That zonal wise, and the two teams will
Yeah,
qualify.
that's the rumors. Yeah, that's the rumors we've heard as well. But everyone is really eager to get out there. I mean, I've been in touch with my Nagaland teammates, and they're all really ready to go. So hopefully things fall in place, and we're out there again playing.
And playing in that picturesque. You must be having a picturesque grounds over there.
It is a beautiful part. If anyone ever wants to visit Nagaland, that's the place to be. It's something special.
Absolutely, for food, music, and cricket.
And
Stay
people.
safe. And people, of course, of course,
Yep.
of course. Of course. Thanks a lot, Stuart, for coming on this show. It was really
No
pleasure,
problem.
and
It's
and
a
we hope
pleasure.
face to face. Yes, take care. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye.
Bye.